Hello there. My name is Bukola Jolubu, fondly referred to as Kiki. Welcome to my channel. I'm super excited you stopped by. Now, if this is your first time here, thank you so much for stopping by. Remember to subscribe and hit the notification button so that you don't miss any of our videos. And if you're returning, thank you for returning. And please remember to leave your comments and like the video. Talking about the topic of today, gratitude, teaching our teenagers to be grateful, teaching our teenagers to live a lifestyle of gratitude. And throughout for this season and this series, we've been talking about gratitude, how we parents can become grateful for our children, how we can live a lifestyle of gratitude and model this to our children. Now, how do we teach our teenagers a lifestyle of gratitude? Before we go to how we teach them, there's something I realized while I was doing this research, and that is that gratitude is actually an emotion. Can you beat that? And thinking about it, I think it makes a lot of sense that for me to think that gratitude, or agree that gratitude is an emotion. So that means when we demand gratitude, when we ask ourselves, say thank you, can't you be grateful? I did this for you, I did that for you, I'm doing this, I'm working nights and day for you, I'm giving you all of this. We're trying to buy the gratitude, which takes away the emotional point of view from it, and then we're demanding it, which now makes gratitude for them lip service or a heartless service, right? So why do children become, or teenagers become, ungrateful? Reflecting on myself, at what point do we ask our teenagers to be grateful? When we feel they are beginning to take a mick, right? When we feel they're beginning to demand too much, or when we feel they're not appreciating us, or they're becoming disrespectful. After I've done all of this for you, after I've climbed the mountain and come down, providing for you, doing this, buying these expensive trainers. Their trainers are expensive, particularly the boys. Yeah. So after I've done all of that, you cannot be grateful. So we're demanding gratitude and making it materialism. So asking them to be grateful for material things. And so when these material things are not flowing like they expect, remember, the older they become, the more they demand. And they're not flowing like they expect, they become ungrateful. When these things are not coming the way it used to come when they were younger, they become ungrateful, because gratitude is being from a materialistic angle, right? I'm speaking to myself as well, because I've got two teenage boys. So, and these are the reasons why they easily become ungrateful. Teenagers become ungrateful when we expose them, or when they're exposed to things that are inappropriate, or experiences that are inappropriate to their age. When we parents, or we the adults, have taught gratitude from a place of materialism. Yeah. And so they become ungrateful. But if we begin to look at gratitude from an emotional point of view, and begin to see it that, okay, it's not just about the material things around us that we should be grateful for. It becomes embedded in us. And then it becomes easy to live that lifestyle. Right? I hope I'm making sense, because I'm making sense. I'm to myself. I'm learning as well as we're looking through this. Teenagers beginning to develop that mindset of entitlement, because all this while, all they get is giving, giving, giving. So, how do we teach our children, our teenagers, to be grateful? First of all, is by not making the mistake of calling names, throwing tantrums ourselves. A lot of us adults are not emotionally intelligent, and because we're not emotionally intelligent, we express negative emotions that leads to negative reactions from us to our children, and then from them to us, particularly when they become teenagers. So don't call names. Calling names well up negative emotions or negative reactions in our children. So going, you ungrateful child, you're so entitled, you brat, you that, you this. Imagine the names we parents call our children sometimes. And I'm wondering, you've named your child a beautiful name like Feyintoluwa, which has a very beautiful meaning. I trust in the Lord. And instead of calling that child that beautiful name, in the moments of anger, begin to call them all sorts of names. That is actually the opposite of the name, the beautiful name we actually should be calling them. So, because of that, negative emotions, negative reactions now are now coming from them to us, and then from us to them, and it becomes like chaotic in the home. So, first of all, avoid name calling and teaching them. Instill value in your child. What are the values? In my home, from time to time, we do this thing that, okay, we do family meetings, and then sometimes, in fact, in our next family meeting, I'm going to do this again. What are our values? We all we all mention like 3 or 4 values that are really important to us. We discuss them, and then based on discussion, we now prioritize 3 to say this 3. Yes, mine can be this, but off mine, we now review all of them and now say these 3 are like our family core values that we want to live by for that season. Sometimes we carry from the one from before to forward. Sometimes we mix them. And again, the truth of the matter is your value doesn't necessarily have to be what you do right now. Your value could be what you want to improve on. For instance, there was a time my value was timeliness, because I noticed I was always going late to events, and I'm like, what happened? So, I had to say my value is time. So even though I'm still working on it, I'm work in progress, it's something I'm conscious of. So that's what we do as a family, and you can do that. Those are baby steps you can begin to take to help instill values in your children or in your teenagers. So when you guys have it, you talk about it. I'm a Christian, and the Bible says, teach it when you're sleeping, when you're eating, when you're walking. So that means all of the times. And how do you teach that all of the times? 1, by modeling it. 2, by talking about it, not nagging it. It's talking, modeling it, expressing it everywhere you go, and let them see you do it. And that's how we teach it. That's how we teach gratitude. Also, by helping them, express kindness to others. When you see an opportunity for your child to be kind to other people, stylishly grab it for them. Discuss it with them and help them. That means you have to make time, right? So I know that somebody needs this. There was a time just before COVID stopped it, when my oldest son finished GCSE, and there was a bit of time in his hand. I just looked at him like, a lot of parents are complaining about maths and everything, and it's very good with maths. Let's look for children that you can be teaching maths. And he began to teach them. By doing that and seeing how other children are struggling with that particular subject, he became more grateful for his knowledge, his ability to be able to solve mathematics just like that. So that helped him focus on his good side, his abilities, his strength, and be grateful for that. So not material things. So when after instilling values, model it, and then help them show kindness. Another one is teach emotional intelligence. Now, there is a model in Boys to Men Institute that we teach emotional intelligence. In fact, it's one of the very first things we teach, how our children can be emotionally intelligent, pay attention to their own emotions, and then to be able to pay attention to other people's emotions. So teach them emotional intelligence. Also, encourage them to notice other people's kindness. So when you're emotionally intelligent, you notice other people's kindness. So encourage them to notice other people's kindness. And how do you do that? For instance, you go to the restaurant and somebody does something. Thank you. We feel when we're crossing the road that's on zebra crossing, the vehicles should stop for us. But here now, what I say to my children is wait and see the tires stop, right? And when the tires have stopped, you cross, say thank you, and do not walk like a snail there. You move fast, respect that other person's time, because that person could have chosen not to wait or stop for you. So say thank you and move fast. So those are little things. In the village where we stay here, there was a time when my children were learning to drive, and a vehicle is coming and they allow you pass. We just raise our hand because there are so many speed stoppers on the way. So when even if though you have the right of way and the vehicle stops and you're passing through, you raise your hand and say thank you. And then I not only raise my hand to say thank you, I move my lips. So whether the person is looking at me or not, I do. And by default, the other person does this back. That's what happens here. So, and my children are like, who even started this rule that even though it's my right of way, I said, you do your hand like this. And I said, well, it's a good habit. And then one of them said, Mom, they can't hear you. You're saying thank you. I said, well, they can't hear me, but they probably can read my lips. That's me going a step further. And guess what? Both of them now drive. And I noticed they do that as well. Teaching them to notice other people's kindness by appreciating the kindness and letting them see you, hear you appreciate other people's kindness. Also, teaching them empathy. When children are growing, they have this great sense of empathy. They empathize with others and they want to help others. How do you make sure it continues? Teach them empathy by you modeling empathy. I've talked about modeling a lot. A lot of the things our children become is they're greatly dependent on us. It's first from the home. So what are we modeling to our children? Between us, our spouse. How do you appreciate your spouse? A lot of us, we forget to appreciate our spouses and we're just complaining and complaining and complaining. Even if you don't complain to the children, they read body language. I say to people, children are the greatest psychologists on earth. They read our body languages. And you don't want your child to read you that you're not grateful. Also, keep a journal and a jar. I must confess, I've written 2 journals, and I most times, particularly when they were a lot younger teenagers, I have to remind them to journal, right? So sometimes when I forget, that means they won't, right? Because boys, sometimes that writing is not, my younger son is a poet, but my older son rather calculates and rather than write. So what did I begin to do? We started keeping a jar of gratitude. So we have post-its. Write what you're grateful for and drop it inside the jar. Sometimes write what you're trusting God for and drop it inside the jar. And guess what? I also say, write how you feel about God. Write how you feel. Be sincere about it. Right now, you have this anger, you're upset about something. Write it. And at the end, say, thank you because I know you're loving. Thank you for life. Thank you. Something you're grateful for, and put it in the jar. Helping them keep a jar of gratitude or a journal of gratitude. I hope this has helped. It actually has helped me as well because I've learned a lot. Thank you so much for staying by. Please, if you have any more tips that we can use in helping our teenagers become more grateful, in helping our teenagers live a lifestyle of gratitude, please remember to drop it in the comments and I'll pick it up. I'm also learning. In fact, I've learned a lot from this session today. I'll see you again. My name is Bukola Jolobo and I love you. My love to that boy in your home as well. Thank you.